I'm sitting here with Mike from Delaware, who I'm getting a lot of rants, from a lot of folks, often about government things. But finally, I've got someone who can rant about something else. And this is you have more of a corporate issue. Tell me about your corporate concern.
Well, I work for a grocery store, working third shift, stocking overnight, and about this time last year, they decided they were going to get rid of our shift and make us well, they were going to split our shift in half and have half of us come in 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. to break down the loads that come in, and then the other half come in and put up the load in the morning. So I work overnight mostly because I'm introverted and I don't really like to be around people, and that job gives me the freedom to, I'm pretty much alone most of the night. So
you're a pretty decent dancer for an introvert.
Really?
Yeah, I saw you dance a couple years ago. But anyway, go ahead.
I was probably drunk.
Still legal.
No, anyways, it had been about 3 months into working during the day, and I hated every minute of it. And someone asked me, like, hey, Mike, you're starting to like it, what's going on? And I made a joke that working during the day makes me want to blow my brains out. And I smiled and laughed afterwards, so I thought I made it clear that it was a joke. But about 3 days later, I got interrogated for 3 hours by the loss prevention guy. And it was about stuff about, like, what guns I own, how many, what I think about the president and government, and all kinds of stuff that isn't really relevant to work. And actually later, when I had to come back and have a meeting with the corporate people, they actually said that I said inappropriate things about the president in my statement I had to write up and give to them, which was pretty much when the guy Paul asked me what I felt about the president. So I said the president is a mass murderer, and he asked me which one, and I pretty much said there hasn't been a modern president that hasn't been, and he asked me to elaborate. So then I asked the woman on the phone, because it was a phone conference meeting,
wow,
what did I say that was inappropriate about the president? When people drop bombs or order those bombs dropped and it kills people, I don't see how that's inappropriate to call that mass murder unless you have a different definition. And then instead of even answering it, she just moved on to whatever else.
So what do they even care? You're putting up groceries.
Yeah, it was goofy. And I also had to attend therapy before I was even allowed to come back to work or anything.
Jeez, but they paid for it, right?
Yeah.
Could you step a little bit closer,
Yeah,
Mike?
sure.
I'm losing you in terms of audio.
Okay.
But so are you have a sense that this is happening in a lot of companies? Have you talked to other people that this kind of thing is happening to, or?
I'm not sure, but it definitely happens at my company. So.
Gerald Celente has this expression that state-controlled capitalism is called fascism. Do you feel like that's what's happening to you, or?
Yeah, I would say we live in a fascist sort of system, and the state subsidizes big business. I honestly don't even think many businesses, like big business, would even exist as we've seen it today if it wasn't for the state intervention into the economy. There's never been a golden age, a laissez-faire. It's always been a system of state privilege.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mike, what do you think would be the most constructive thing that people can do about this concern that you have?
I would say to start practicing agorism and get as much money as they can into the black market instead of the status markets.
Yeah. The good guy black market.
Yeah.
There's different kinds of black markets.
Well, in agorist theory, they talk about what's the red market, which is things that are violations of liberty, like war would be in that, and then stuff would be like, say, like gangster stuff, like,
yeah,
gangs and stuff would fall under that.
We need a color for our market.
It's called, I believe it's the white market.
I like that.
There's I can't remember, but there's 5. There's
white market, yeah.
There's like the pink market's like state approved stuff that's not necessarily immoral. Like say like something that you're selling something and you got a license to do it.
Where do the people find that color code? On the internet.
I think I read it in the New Libertarian Manifesto.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure, though.
I might put up a URL if I can find it.
Okay.
That's really a neat idea. White market.
Yeah, Jack actually might be talking about it at the introduction to Agorist.
Yeah. Anything that you in particular are doing to address this concern that you want to talk about?
There's not really much I can do because there's not really anybody where I live who really feels the same. So
Yeah.
I kind of want to get up here and work with what's going on up here.
Right.
Because there's nothing going on where I live. And
You can easily get 5 or 10 people to stand in front of a bad corporation and protest it if you want that.
Yeah.
We don't do that very often, but
Yeah.
it can be done. All right, thanks so much, Mike.
Yep.
Look forward to seeing you up here, like for permanent.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.